So even Fox was turning against Donald Trump's weak and pathetic tariff stunt. I'll give you an example right here. I mean, Laura Ingraham, you don't get bigger of a propagandist for Donald Trump than her. So here she's openly wondering, did Donald Trump just cave to Canada by essentially agreeing to a deal for Canada to do things that it was already doing and that it had announced weeks or months ago? Watch this moment. Let's play it.
I'm not too impressed with the Canadian response, frankly. I mean, the fentanyls are, I don't know what that's going to do. And I guess they'll have a few helicopters flying at the border. I mean, it's not nothing, but they were going to get slapped with 25% tariffs. And now those are gone for at least 30 days. I'm not sure what's going to happen in 30 days, maybe some other, concessions, but I think President Trump saw a huge negative reaction to this, as I know you predicted, I predicted, from Wall Street, from the markets, from all the establishment type.
And when Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada announced the so-called deal that was done with the United States, for those in Canada and the rest of the world, they understood that it was kind of a troll, because Prime Minister Trudeau said, we will be implementing our $1.3 billion border plan. And yes, we will appoint a fentanyl czar. There's like no fentanyl coming into the United States from Canada. It's like a Donald Trump made up delusional thing to try to smear, besmirch, and defame Canada. Oh yeah. And then the $1.3 billion border plan. Okay, that was already happening under President Biden. And then Prime Minister Trudeau had already talked about this like months ago. I mean, just look at these articles from December 2014, $1.3 billion federal border security plan to have aerial defenses as well. This was already in place for a very long time. And just by the way, just even over the weekend, Prime Minister Trudeau talked about what had already been implemented by Canada. Just let me show you this so you can get the receipts. Then I got to show you more of these Fox clips, because this is hilarious. Here, play this clip.
We launched a $1.3 billion border plan that is already showing results, because we too are devastated by the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has torn apart communities and caused so much pain and torment for countless families across Canada, just like in the United States. A drug that we too want to see wiped from the face of this earth. A drug whose traffickers must be punished. As neighbors, we must work collaboratively to fix this. Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together.
All right. So then Fox had on the ambassador to the United States from Canada, Ambassador Ray, or the Canadian ambassador to the United Nations, rather. Here is Bob Ray, Canadian ambassador to the UN. Here he's talking about how a lot of these expenditures that are being talked about, like, they already existed. We agree. We didn't agree to anything. And they're saying it on Fox. Here, watch Ambassador Ray here. Play this clip.
Security goes down.
Clearly, the administration sees it as a movement today, with Mexico and Canada promising a lot that they weren't promising before.
Not true in our case. I mean, can only speak very directly on this. We've had candid conversations with the administration for a long time on what we felt we could do and what we felt needed to be done, not just for you, but also for us. And many of those expenditures were already announced by the Prime Minister many, many weeks ago. So
here's the Canadian ambassador as well, making it very clear, looking to the Fox audience, standing up for Canada on Fox. I love it. Here, play this clip.
Why we're trying to have a reasonable and sensible discussion. And that's the kind of discussion
I appreciate
we'd like to have, and one that's respectful. And by the way, we're not the 51st state. We're a sovereign, independent country. Our leader deserves to be treated with respect, and we deserve to be treated with respect. And that's the way we want to proceed.
So, of course, Fox has to then have its more, they're all kind of clownish hosts. There's just different degrees of Brett Baer on the clown scale versus Jesse Waters, which is like ultimate clowns. And again, I know we have clowns who actually watch, like professional ones, not these ones who are inherent clowns. So no offense to the clown community, but here's Jesse Waters. Play this clip.
Canada needs us more than we need them. Over 75% of Canadian exports come here.
But look, some of these hosts on Fox, they were ready to go with the fact checks. For example, here, one of the things that was pointed out right away when Donald Trump tried to pretend that he did a deal with Mexico and that Mexico was sending an additional 10,000 troops to the border. Even they pointed out on Fox, they're like, Trump didn't do a deal. Like, Biden got the 10,000 troops. Like, we know this from 2021. This again on Fox. Here, play this clip.
Also release the lumber here. Do you think on some level he's saying, I want to build up the middle class again by making the cars, doing the lumber here?
What happens when Canada puts on retaliatory tariffs against things made in states that Trump cares about? And by the way,
let's see if they do that by the end of the year.
They will, but by the way,
let's see if that happens.
Mexico sent 10,000 troops to the border in 2021 when Joe Biden was president. So it doesn't take the stock market tanking and threats of a tariff war to get Mexico to respond. So if you're willing,
you don't think there's border security during Joe Biden?
If you're willing,
and here the host is again. Let's play it.
So if you're willing,
you don't think there's border security during Joe Biden?
If you're willing, if Donald Trump will come out and say, I am willing for the American people to pay more, even though I promised lower prices. Pay more.
He already said that. Don't you read his Truth Social? So he said, look, there may be a little bit of pain.
Are people okay with that? He promised lower prices,
we won't
and now
have
we're
to
paying
find
more
out
for everything.
Because these countries are sitting down.
We're going to pay more for everything, guys. The Wall Street Journal says so. Do we now not trust the Wall Street Journal's economists
But
here?
if it doesn't happen, we don't have to.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
Not even in effect yet.
We'll see.
And that would be short term. The incentive for those countries to have businesses come here is you go from 28 to 15% of a tax if you not only do business here. That'll take you 22. You get to 15 because you're going to build and build in American jobs here. We don't know. Maybe that phone call has a lot of sweetness to it.
Those companies are going to go to China.
By the way, that prime minister's on his way out the door. You don't know what kind of deal he'll cut.
Those companies are going to go to China, not Mexico, not Canada, and not here.
Happy Monday.
Nobody's going there.
That's what's going to happen.
But as I said, then Fox has to roll out, Laura Ingraham's like, oh crap, we're way too mean to Donald Trump. Let's get in Stephen Miller. And then they bring on Stephen Miller. And Stephen Miller's like, U.S. aid is really bad. We hate the U.S. aid. There's nothing worse than U.S. aid helping people. Here, play this clip.
But the bottom line here is USAID has been working against the interests of this country for decades now.
We gotta go.
President Trump is executing his duty to align federal funding with our national security interests.
Y'all realize, the world is both in horror of what's taking place and also laughing at the United States. Our enemies are clearly laughing, and the rest of the world doesn't even know, it's just gross and weird. And you see Stephen Miller there, attack one of America's programs to try to, or that's been providing aid to people who are suffering from diseases, America's programs to try to stop the spread of HIV and AIDS abroad and to give, women with HIV AIDS, medication that they need to live, to provide aid to people abroad who are otherwise going to die. Oh, wait, this is the quote unquote pro-life party that's just killing people and attacking U.S. aid. It's so utterly pathetic. Let me show you this though too, because I thought this is actually a pretty good fact check from Larry Summers on CNN, former Treasury Secretary under President Clinton. Here's what Larry Summers has to say. It's pretty rare to formulate a policy as bad as Trump did. Here, play this clip.
So it's pretty rare, actually, to be able to formulate a policy that's lose for American consumers, lose for American producers, lose for American influence in the world, and only is benefiting our adversaries who are getting a great deal of satisfaction out of seeing this spectacle of traditional alliances being torn apart with these kinds of threats.
Summers was good in this interview. Here he is again. Let's play it.
And the effect of all of this is just going to be that every other country in the world, if we were prepared to do this with Canada, is going to view us with much more suspicion. They're certainly not going to do anything voluntarily generous for us if they expect to be extorted in the near future in this way. So,
yeah, one more clip of Summers to show you. Let's play.
I do wonder what you make of Trump and some of his administration officials saying that Canada is inciting this trade war through their actions. Do you see it that way at all?
It's absurd. Canada is our friend. Canada is not an important source of illegal immigrants. Canada is not an important source of illegal drugs. Canada is an important market for American products. Canada is a crucial co-producer with American automobile companies that enable North America to compete with Asia and Europe. This whole policy is of the stop or I'll shoot myself in the foot kind. It represents a self-inflicted supply shock, a wound on the American economy. It is very dangerous. The major winner will be Xi Jinping.
There you have it, folks, though. Interesting stuff. Tell me what you think. But even on Fox, they were like, what in the world? I mean, Trump just got played by Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico, by Prime Minister Trudeau. And now the world sees Donald Trump is so weak. Oh, Donald Trump, you're going to create a fake controversy, make all of these threats. Then you're going to just agree to the status quo. You're going to pretend it's a deal. But guess what? For the rest of the world now, for Canada, for Mexico, you can't rely on America under Donald Trump, this chaos regime under Donald Trump. They get it, but they also look at him like the weakest move ever. I mean, Trump showed his hand after folding. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.